Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to be focusing on the airport, or more specifically, this spare piece of land next to the airport, where I want to build an important, nice tall, 5-star hotel. Now before we get started on today's build of the airport hotel, I did want to give a special shout out to Oscar from Hamilton, New Zealand, which is a town just south of Auckland, if you're interested, who sent me some lovely photographs of a Lego show that he's setting up for, and specifically of some rail carriages, which I recognised as being inspired by the channel. He had his version of the dome car, which I have on my white train, but he has on his more recent 60197. Also a mail wagon or baggage car, like my one here. But even better than that, he sent a wonderful bespoke cargo wagon on a cargo train, which has not only the RHB logo on its top in green, which is very nice advertising for the channel. Thank you for that. But also the GBC 3-coloured logo, representing all of my ginormous balls being exported literally to the other side of the world, in this case, for distribution all around that area. So that was really nice to see. I've had quite a few little builds of cargo containers and things sent to me. You can do that via my email on my channel's about page. And I really always love to see anything that's been inspired by one of the builds I've done going further afield. I think that's what it's all about, sharing ideas and having a lot of fun. So if you've got any, do send me them as well. And while we're on GBC, this is floundering a bit on the LEGO Ideas website, so I definitely would appreciate your vote. It helps publicise the channel. And the Fast Food Corner got to 10,000 ideas votes very, very quickly, but this is only on about 1,500 still. So unless we get some more now, I think it's not going to make it, which is a bit sad, but hey-ho, maybe it's just not as popular. But anyway, thanks very much again, Oscar. Those pictures really were fantastic to see. So here is a bedoing, especially for you. And then on to today's build. Now I do already have one hotel all the way over the far side of the room. And that was something I did quite a long time ago and was based on kind of a facade version of the town hall, set 10224. And I did that before I ever thought I'd own the town hall, so that's why it's exactly the same. Well, with some variations, of course. And it also incorporates the sign from another set that I didn't think I'd ever have, that sort of lit up hotel one, which is from the Cafe Corner 10182. But it's not very big a hotel, given it's in facade form. This one will be a facade as well, but I figure a city like Brick Nottingham needs more than one. And this one's got one guest on the outside, being an American visitor, but the other one I think will make a little bit deeper so it can have a lot more guests. Now, to my knowledge, LEGO haven't actually done many hotel builds in the past. Indeed, that one with the kind of sign that came from Cafe Corner for a hotel is just a doorway in part of that set, with some stairs sort of going up to the second floor, but the insides of that entire modular, and indeed a lot of the old ones, are completely empty. They aren't like these wonderful new ones where they've got all the fun scenes throughout. And apart from that, I think there was only really one other LEGO hotel, at least in the last 10 or 20 years, and that was from the Capital City set 60200. Now, that is one of those wonderful city builder sets, as I call them, because it really helps you build a city, such as this, over a long period of time, in that it's got a couple of buildings, a couple of vehicles, a few scenes, and lots of minifigures. And that helps you expand a sort of established city very quickly, but it also helps you start a brand new city by giving you kind of a bit of everything that you need. And there's been quite a few of those sort of city builder sets in the past. Another favourite being the 60097 one that the orange tram comes in, for example. So, yeah, I'm a really big fan of those sets usually. And this one had some really good elements that I wanted immediately on seeing them, like this wonderful open-top tour bus that I use to represent all of my viewers from around the world, with all their cameras looking at everything I'm doing. But then again, for £120, that whole set was not wall-to-wall brilliance, if you ask me. The museum build was, well, it was just a box. I really don't like buildings that are just a box made out of large panels. There was also a crane, which didn't inspire me much, and a skateboard ramp and so on. And I was kind of really undecided whether I could buy the whole set or just buy the bus that I wanted separately from somebody who'd split the set on eBay. Now, there were some other good elements like the ice cream tuk-tuk, both the cars, the small orange one and the big blue one. Always can use more cars in your city. And there's also a nice sort of fast food joint. So I was really sort of torn between buying it and not buying it. But then when Amazon discounted it, it made a decision for me. So I did go ahead. And that does mean that I have got the small hotel build that's part of that set as kind of a donor for the build today. And that's something I really do enjoy doing, actually, is getting kind of even the worst builds that Lego have done themselves and either expanding them or improving them and expanding them to make them a lot more practical for use in my city. And that means that, you know, a lot of people who are watching recognize the builds, even if they aren't identical to their own, rather than doing everything completely mock from the ground up. So that's one of my favorite jobs. So what I suggest we do is get that base set in Lego Digital Designer, my digital designer of choice. Others are available, and see what we can do about expanding it, because we need to make it a lot bigger and definitely a lot better if it's going to look good and be a 5-star establishment for the visitors to Brick Nottingham from abroad. So let's go into LDD. So here we are in Lego Digital Designer, and here is the basic hotel from set 60200. And yeah, it is pretty basic, without any side walls, without a back, well, without much to it at all, really. It's very small indeed, bit of a boutique hotel with a tiny pool and lounge area on the top. So the main things I'm going to be doing to this is making it, as I said, much bigger and much better. And I will be keeping it a facade, so it doesn't matter that it's got an open back, because that will suggest that the building is much bigger and goes into the wall of the Lego room. But it definitely does need sides, and it definitely needs to be a lot bigger as well. And we probably need to sort out the top floor as well to make it look more facade-y as well by removing this kind of back wall. Anyway, so I think the first thing we need to do is separate the floors. So I'm just going to do that to take off the top floor, put that to one side. I'm going to then take off the middle floor like that. Just unselect some of these flags and things to leave them behind. I think I've picked up too many bits, but that looks about right. And then while we're here, I don't want this floor repeating, this sign rather, repeating every floor. So I'm just going to take that off as well. Put that in there. Right, so now I think we've got our constituent parts. I think we can alter each of them in turn. So let's just put that all to one side. Start with the ground floor. So I'm relatively happy with this in its size and shape, because we do want the hotel to be quite compact to keep up with my density rules and so on. There's no point doubling its footprint for not much benefit. So really the main thing is really just to add some sides to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is continue this red brick layer along the bottom, and I'll do that on both sides. Oh, we're going to have to tuck this chair into the building. We can worry about that in the real life one a bit more, but for now I'll just shove that inside. So we'll turn that as well, and I can probably use that brick and that brick to fill in a gap here. And then we can continue this sort of window theme from the front by having these 1x2x5 clear bricks as the side windows as well. Now we are going to have to fill in that extra gap, so I'll probably actually make that a little bit higher. So we'll put in some more tan bricks here, just a 2 and a 3 for now, and then I can put them in there. That looks good. So we've continued the sort of downstairs theme throughout. put that in the gap. Right, there we go. So there's our completed ground floor, and I think that's looking fine. It's pretty basic on the sides, but it's going to be right tucked in against that airport, so I don't think that really matters. Now for this floor, I think we need to tidy it up a bit. I don't like this bit sticking out at all. I think we'll just make that more consistent with the other frontages by having just the brick continuing there. We'll need to fill in where that sign was that we've just taken out. And then I don't like these studs showing here on the top of this layer, so I'm going to actually get some black tiles in there, just put in some 1x1 tiles there and there to kind of continue what is the railing pieces, which I do like in front of the windows, and then put in a 1x4 one there, and I think that's looking a lot better. Then on the sides we can continue that as we did on the ground floor, and then we need a 4-long brick now just to fill in that bit on each side, and then we can add another one of these lovely big dark green windows on each side. And that should be our standard floor covered. So we've still got a double bedroom and a single bedroom, and we can have that repeating several times. So we'll have that as the next floor up, and then we'll probably have to lose this bit just because it goes in a little bit more. So we'll put in some red bricks on there, and then when we add the next floors, how many should we add? It will look more like that. So we'll add one there, and one more for luck. Put that on there, and then it's a much more imposing and impressive building. I think you'll agree. Now we do need to add our nice hotel sign back, so I think that'll look good on that floor. Halfway up, halfway down, like that. Yep, that's looking good, and it's got the nice sort of 5-star type sticker on the outside of that I really like. And then we can just put our roof back on. And as I say, probably when we get into the real one, we should knock off this entire bit here and kind of extend all the sides back a bit and extend the pool back a bit and the seating area, just so it kind of looks like it continues off for more space than we've actually got showing, much like the rest of the facade. And then just one more touch on the top. I think I'll get rid of another one of those 1x2x5 bricks just to put in a physical representation of the 5-star sign, which I've got here. And that's just 5 of these kind of friends stars in gold on Technic 1x2 bricks with a half pin. So I think that's quite a good effect as well. It just adds a bit more texture to what is otherwise quite a plain building. But there we go. There is our much exaggerated, much extended, much bigger and much better hotel for the airport. And then with one wave of my magic wand, what was digital is now made into physical form. So here is the ground floor of the hotel with these really nice 1x2x5 bricks in trans to kind of continue the theme around the outside that we just looked at. I spent a bit more time on the interior, not too much, just getting the carpet right, having the lovely hotel employee at the reception desk who looks very happy indeed and a welcoming smile. Just arranged those chairs as I said I would. And one change that I've made to the ground floor is adding this extra tile layer with a few modified tiles in as well. And that's because I'm going to be attaching the ground floor to the base plate near the airport very firmly, and if I'm ever going to want to position scenes or even have a peek inside the rest of the building, I think I do need it able to be lifted off. So that was the theory behind that. Now if we go to the rest of the building, the other half, well the big half, then it is here. So it is going right up there, and there's the extra slopes on the bottom level that's sort of going to flank the canopy, and as I did on the program, I've got more bricks here and the extra tiles just getting it looking a lot smoother and sleeker. And just to break up this bit, I've actually got some inverted slopes in here as well, before our lovely big green windows, dark green. And then I've got the nice hotel sign, double-sided from the original set with the 5 stars down at the front. I really like that. It's a really good feature. And then if I lift up the cameras, probably easier than the other way around, We've got our third floor, much the same, and each of these has got a full interior as the original did. So we've got 6 rooms and then 2 more for 8. And then I've even got the scene on the top floor. And in an old brick hall, I got quite a few of these hotel employees. So this one's really grumpy because he's having to serve a lovely cold cocktail to this trendsetter lady who is from Series 10. And she's just being very lazy in the sun. And maybe she's not a very nice customer to have to serve. I don't know. But he doesn't look very happy with his job either way. And then her friend has got a backwards baseball cap. And he's actually got a bit of a pot belly there. And that's the torso from the Sumo Wrestler Series 3. I've got a couple of those on a haul as well. So I thought he might be a little overweight, but still enjoying the pool. Now, we'll have to position all of these flags so they're going in the right direction towards the harbour, like every flag in the rest of my city. And I thought I'd try and put on this back thing just to make it sort of more enclosed with this screening all around the back as well. But I think what I am going to do next as an alternative trial is kind of extend the pool and the seating area right back to the very edge, because then it will give this sort of dot of the facade effect of it being against the wall, that maybe the pool and this area are a lot bigger, which is important really, because we haven't got any steps up here or any lifts or anything, and I don't want to waste space doing that. So yeah, having it looking like a facade is a good idea. And there are those Friends stars, which I think work really well, and they're kind of a 3D echo of that sticker there as well. So cool. Let me pop that down temporarily so I can lift one onto the other. That should fit, he says. There we go. So there is our full height and fully enclosed hotel facade with pool. But let me do a second draft of that pool with it going all the way back, and we'll take another look. And then we'll need to think about who we're going to have visiting and staying in our hotel. But you see, what was a very kind of small and ugly starting point has become a lot more impressive just by really scaling it up and adding a few details. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. No doubt we could have gone for some amazing MOC, but you know, if we're doing 3 of these videos a week, I think this is good enough. Great. All right, so this is my second attempt, taking the back off and having it so it's a facade. And I think already that looks like that pool could continue, and so could this sort of fake grass area. So I think I'll put him kind of at an angle, because I've also changed this to tiles rather than plates, and I think that looks a bit better. Obviously I could have used some trans colours or something, but with these trans pieces on the edge, I kind of figured that blue might be better. And it's obviously not a very deep pool because it's just above these rooms, but nonetheless. Right, so we want to add our sunbather back, and I've just put in a plate underneath the sun lounger this time, just so it doesn't slip around too much when I lift off the roof, because she's not attached to it either. And then we can add her umbrella and her drink bringer, who's looking very unimpressed. Oh, sorry, just get that back in shot. It's hard to do this one-handed and build it one-handed as well. So there we go, that's that scene replaced. And I do think that's an improvement over having the sort of back rail that we kind of had before. It was kind of more like that. Yeah, because then it kind of looks like a very small pool indeed. So that's good. I think that's an improvement. Then I've also got a nice red carpet, some of the flower tubs that came with the original set, and a third one of these guys. And he can be outside greeting guests who arrive on the red carpet. So I'm going to start getting all of that in position over here. And we're going to have to do a lot of tiling all around here and around, well, the whole area really. And then we can start thinking about who we're going to put inside and what they're going to be doing. So there's the start of the tiles, and I've just sort of continued this pattern that I've got along the front of the airport, kind of just round the corner, just to continue that and link it up. And I've started putting on all of the triangular tiles and the kind of odd-shaped ones that make a smoother corner. And there's the red carpet and the doorman, kind of in position. I might jiggle that around a little bit. But yeah, I think it's looking good. I think that's the right placement. And I may even stop the paving before we get to about here, actually, because I do want a little bit of countryside, kind of blank. Maybe I'll put a tree in there in due course to kind of get us into the countryside from the city, because it's a very quick transition, isn't it, from fully built up to countryside. And I guess that gap kind of represents quite a distance in real life. And I'll put these tubs of flowers out the front as well. So yeah, I think that's the right position. Now this building will be very tall, of course, but that doesn't matter that it's near an airport, because they know exactly where the planes are going to be taking off and where they're not. And well, with modern technology, they aren't just flying in from any old angle, definitely not at this low height. So having a tall building here will not be a problem with it not being in any of the flight paths, because we know the flight path is way over here. Now this hotel and its many floors and the area outside represent quite an area for doing some fun scenes in. And I had quite a few ideas over, well, many weeks and months actually, of what to do in this area. Because every time I get some really hard to use minifigure from all of the series minifigures, one of the main suggestions I get is to do some sort of convention, because it's a good way of using up people in very strange costumes that you just wouldn't be able to use in a normal setting around your city. Now I've had quite a few suggestions for different types of convention. One might be using all the historical figures, all the kings and queens and things like that, for a historical type convention. Another major one is to use all the ones in these furry suits, like this panda, to do kind of a furries animal suit type convention, which I really don't understand what they're doing in real life, but it is adults dressing up in life-size furry outfits to get together. Yeah. Anyway, I thought what would be much more fun, so we get rid of him, is to do kind of a Comic-Con type thing with loads of sci-fi references and pop culture references that will be really good. And people can even carry guns in character, because there'll be fake toy guns, of course, and it'll be really silly. And also because I can use the most people in this way, I think, from my collection. So for all of you who suggested a Comic-Con type idea, this is your bedoing. So in no particular order, I thought I could do some people from a kind of a mummy film. And that could be this guy from the Halloween Hayride 40423, and this one being the Series 19 Mummy Queen. And I thought, because I had two of these, I thought maybe they'd be getting ready in one of the double bedrooms. Maybe the lady was ready and she was helping her husband get dressed, so he'd be in full costume as well. So that'll go in one of the rooms, I think. And then I don't know if I'm going to fit all of these in, because I've got absolutely loads, but in contention are the wonderful fairy tale princess from series 12 doing her kissing face. So maybe she's just giving a peck to her partner, and maybe her partner is the series 17 retro spaceman, who is hilarious. And it really does look like a costume, this one, with the cape and the silly helmet and the silly gun. So I really like him, so I'm glad to use him in the city. So I think he'll definitely make the cut, however many we use. Other ones include this guy, who's actually from the Building minifigure wall, and he's kind of an ice king. I kind of think of him as being almost a bit Game of Thronesy. He's not quite right, of course, but you know, it's that sort of vibe anyway. Very sort of cold looking, and it definitely looks like somebody dressed up with loads of makeup on, so that's a good one. Then we've got the bear costume guy from series 19, and I really don't like this just because of the combination of colours. I think it kind of clashes in my eye. Anyway, so I've had him take off the hat, so it kind of looks less like a furry and more like a costume. And I've given him a sort of goofy expression and goofy hair, because I kind of think this is more like a Care Bear, if you remember those. So they were sort of kids' toys in the 80s, I think. So if that's somebody dressed up as a Care Bear, then he's more of a costume guy than a furry. And then what Comic-Con would be complete without somebody dressing up in full Slave Leia outfit? Now this one is the yellow skin version, the only one that's been done in yellow skin in the early Star Wars sets, 4480 Jabba's Palace from 2003. And it's got a yellow layer and a sand green Jabba the Hutt with no detailing on. So a bit rubbish by today's standard, I suppose. But I'm really glad this layer outfit came in yellow, because obviously I try and keep all of my minifigures yellow. When they aren't wearing makeup, then it's all right. Yes, I really like her, and she'll be looking fantastic in that outfit. Yeah, very good. And then we've got this guy, who is the Series 17 Roman gladiator. And I think he's probably dressed up sort of in the Russell Crowe character from the film. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my revenge, in this life or the next. So that's him. Then we've got the Series 17 Highwayman, who I thought could be a character in pop culture. Maybe he's in a comic book, or he's just Dick Turpin from the olden days. So yeah, I really like him. Can't really use him many other places. Another really retro one. How about somebody dressed up as Tarzan, maybe with a not real chimpanzee, but a pretend one. And he's got his little knife there, so I think that'd be fun. It's probably a rubber knife as well. Otherwise he'll get lynched by airport security. And then I thought I could use this guy, the Galactic Bounty Hunter, Series 19, just because he looks really mean looking, almost a bit sort of Warhammer-y, if you know what that is. Then this one I did much earlier, and I may save this for somewhere else, but this is using the outfit of Harumi from the Gamers Market 71708 set, but I really think it looks like Uma Thurman's character in Kill Bill. So I've given her a samurai sword, and that will probably not be real either. But yeah, I think she looks absolutely great, but she could go anywhere really in a fun scene. Then the Series 13 Galaxy Trooper, which looks very much like the actual Galaxy Troopers from the film, Galaxy Troopers. I think that's what it was called, wasn't it? So I really like him with his two guns. He looks totally tooled up. So I think he'll be very fitting. So I think we'll definitely include him. And then we had to, didn't we, include this guy, the Series 20 Super Warrior, who really, to me, just screams Power Rangers. So I really like him as well. So he's somebody who's turned up in a costume as well. So that is my selection to choose from. There is 14 there to go in the rooms of the hotel and all outside the front, where they're all gathering before they walk to the convention centre. And, well, I hope I can use most of them. So here goes. That is the area that we're going to add them on. I've just added a little bit more, but yeah, it's not a huge space to work with. So there is the scene spilling out onto the street with all of those wonderful characters. I've got all the ones that I went through placed, actually, either out here or in the foyer or in one of the rooms. So if we start at the top, we do have our original scene up there with the trendsetter. And then in that room, we've got the mummy couple getting ready. It's a bit hard to show you at the moment, but you can see it in real life quite easily. Who have we got in here? We've got Tarzan in there. We've got the fairy princess looking out this window, so we can look at her, almost like she's in her tower, about to let down her hair. Sort of Rapunzel style. Have we got anyone down here? Yep, there's the Starship Trooper in there. And then in the foyer, I don't know if I'm going to show you that. Can you see the Ice King through there? Just through there. Yep, so there's somebody pretty much on every floor. And then we've got the scene here, of course. So I think my favourite is still Leia, who is a wonderful costume and a wonderful figure that I've been really looking forward to using, actually. I had to get it in pieces because it's quite rare, hard to get. So I got the torso and the legs from different people. I've applied my own head and hair, so that's fine. And we've got the retro spaceman at the back there talking to the gladiator. I'm not going to do that again, don't worry. The Highwayman, Uma Thurman's character in Kill Bill, the Care Bear, Power Ranger, and Galactic Bounty Hunter, all there. Now I have to be careful not to touch that electric fence on the airport, of course, or they'll end up like the crispy skeleton. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And I've only tiled the immediate area, both. So we've got a green space to the right still to represent the countryside. And because, well, I'm going to have something else planned there. Maybe yet another tree or some sort of art sculpture or something like that. But it adds a nice bit of height to this area because we've got the grain silo over there and we've got the UFO. But then we did have a really big blank part of wall before we got to the control tower. And I think that's all right. I'm sure some people won't like the fact that it's taller than a control tower and probably would break some line of sight or something. But hey, this is Lego. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're not going for realism. If we were going for realism, there'd be much, much, much bigger problems than that. Not least the fact that we've got a literal dead body on this pavement. It hasn't even been cleared up. No one seems to care. Anyway, I think that's quite nice. And I love the hotel sign. I love the stars on the front as well. The dark green really makes it look sort of quite impressive, I think. And this scene out the front is a really good use of these minifigures, which are quite good minifigures. They just don't fit very well, usually, in a city setting. I mean, even that Power Ranger, he looks brilliant. And, I was clueless as how to use him. So this has worked out really well. So thanks for all the Comic Con suggestions again. I think that has been a hit. And we can just assume that they're all going to sort of head off in this direction, maybe round the side of the hotel to get to the conference centre, which is the sort of building that would be located near an airport, isn't it? So yeah, I'm liking that. And I can even do some more later, actually, just thinking about it, who maybe have arrived at the main train station over here. And they're going to be taking perhaps the airport shuttle all the way from this tram stop here to here. And I could even have them sort of walking down the steps or walking across the front here to get to the hotel. So yeah, that has worked really well. I'm very happy with it. But do tell me what you think. So I think I'll do the final take actually on the gathering outside the front of the hotel rather than the hotel itself. It's almost like that is a more bright and colourful scene, more interesting than the tall building. But nonetheless, it's definitely been worth doing, and it's been quite fun looking through all the minifigures to see which one would fit best. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Do also send me any pictures you have with builds that are inspired from the city. I'd love to see them. It's really nice to see how far these ideas permeate around the world. Do support my GBC factory idea. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out all of the links in the description below. It really does make a difference. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing a brick haul on Wednesday. I think I've got 2 smaller packages, one from abroad, one domestic. And then on Friday, I guess we'll be going back to the fairground, though I'm going to have to get my thinking cap on to see exactly what we're able to do next. So, whatever we get up to, I'm sure it'll be great fun. So, see you then!